Hi, welcome. So today, let's talk about that sinking feeling you get when you're scrolling through social media, the one that makes you feel like you're just falling behind everyone else. We're going to pull back the curtain on that whole illusion of wealth that you see online and hopefully give you some ideas that'll totally reframe how you think about success. You know the drill, right? You're just minding your own business, scrolling, and then you see it. Someone posing with a brand new Lamborghini, an influencer with that picture-perfect life in Bali, or maybe it's an old friend who just announced they bought their third property. And that question just pops right into your head. What am I doing wrong? It's a feeling pretty much all of us have had. But listen, this is what you really need to hear right now. You are not behind. You are not failing. And you are absolutely not broken. What you're seeing online, it's just a tiny little piece of a much, much bigger story. And today, we're going to show you the rest of it. Okay, so how are we going to do this? First, we're going to tackle what we're calling the social media mirage. Then we'll get into 5 key reasons why what you see isn't what you get, the rented reality, why freedom is way more valuable than fortune, the hidden price of success, the geography factor, and we'll wrap up with something called the rainfall principle. So first things first, we've got to understand what social media really is. It's a highlight reel. It's a greatest hits album. You only see the public victories, the new car, the fancy vacation, the big promotion. What you don't see are the private struggles, the mountain of debt, the crippling anxiety, and all the messy, real-life stuff that happens behind the camera. And that brings us perfectly to our first big reason, the rented reality. Yeah, that incredible, drool-worthy lifestyle you're seeing, a shocking amount of it is basically just on loan. It's built on rentals, leases, and a whole lot of credit, not actual ownership. And wow, this slide really says it all, doesn't it? Over 90% of new luxury cars that cost more than $100,000 are not owned outright. They're leased or they're financed. So that amazing supercar in that influencer's post, probably rented for a few hours. And that car your buddy is showing off, he might be on a 6-year payment plan that's got him stretched to the absolute limit. And this isn't just a theory, folks. It is a massive, booming industry. The market for just luxury car rentals was $30 billion in 2022, and it's on track to double by 2029. And you know what one of the biggest drivers is? People creating content for social media, projecting this new image of incredible wealth without actually having to own any of it. So here's the key distinction we have to make. There's a huge difference between being rich and being wealthy. Being rich is about having flashy things to show off. But being wealthy? That's all about playing defense. It's about building a financial fortress of assets. You know, things like stocks, real estate, businesses that make sure you're secure for the rest of your life. The real goal is assets first, toys way, way later. Now for our second reason, and this one is a total game changer for how you think about your goals. It's freedom over fortune. This is the idea that true wealth isn't really about how much you make. It's about how much freedom you have. And we're going to see how a life at $8,000 a month can be way, way richer than one at $100,000. Okay, just look at this contrast. I mean, really think about it. Imagine you're making $100,000 a month, but you're chained to your phone 24/7. You're always stressed out, you're missing your kids' soccer games, you're never really there. Now, compare that to making, say, $8,000 a month, but you get to design your own day. You can travel when you want, you're actually present for the things that matter. Which one is true wealth? It's pretty clear, right? It's having control over your time. And that idea of freedom leads us right into our third point, success's hidden price. Social media is great at showing you the amazing result, but it almost never shows you the brutal, painful cost of getting there. Because let's be real, extraordinary results require extraordinary sacrifices. So what does that overnight success actually look like up close? Well, it's usually 3 to 5 years of an insane, all-consuming grind. We're talking no vacations, no nights out with friends, strained relationships, 18-hour workdays, sacrificing your physical and mental health. So before you get jealous of the outcome, you have to ask yourself a serious question. Are you truly willing to pay that price of admission? And this is so, so important. You have to define what success actually means to you. Maybe your dream is to build a billion-dollar company. Awesome. Or maybe it's to make just enough money to live a simple life and go surfing every single day. One is not better than the other. The only real failure is spending your life chasing someone else's definition of success and ending up with a prize you never actually wanted. Okay, moving on to reason number 4, and this is a big one that most people totally overlook: the geography factor. Where somebody lives can create this powerful illusion of wealth because the exact same amount of money buys a wildly different lifestyle depending on where you are in the world. This table is the perfect illustration. So take a $200,000 salary. After taxes in New York City, you're living in a tiny apartment, and after all your crazy high expenses, you might have about 3,000 bucks left over. But that same income in Cape Town, South Africa, you could be living in a luxury 4-bedroom house with an ocean view, and you'd have more than double the disposable income. The number on the paycheck is the same, but the reality, it's not even close. This whole concept is called geographic arbitrage, and it's basically earning money in a strong economy while living and spending it in a lower cost one. In our connected world, it is a legitimate financial superpower. The smartest people out there know that their physical location is a huge variable in their wealth equation. So before you start comparing yourself, just ask, hey, where is this person even living? All right, and that brings us to our final reason, which I think totally reframes the timing of success. It's called the rainfall principle, and it explains why progress can feel so painfully slow for so long, and then all of a sudden, it just explodes. So here's the idea. Just like rain doesn't fall in a nice, steady drizzle all year long, success doesn't happen in a straight line. It comes in these massive, concentrated bursts, a total downpour that always follow long periods of drought where it feels like absolutely nothing is working. Now, during that drought, you're not feeling. You're building, you're planting seeds, you're learning new skills, you're making connections. This is the hardest part, and honestly, it's where almost everyone quits. But if you can just push through, your season, the downpour, will arrive. And that's when your income or your results can suddenly jump 5, even 10 times what they were before. See, your job isn't to make it rain. It's to build the buckets to capture all of it when it finally does. So let's just do a quick recap of everything. First, remember that most of the wealth you see online is just a rented illusion. Second, true wealth is about freedom and control, not just a big number in your bank account. Third, every overnight success has a hidden backstory of immense sacrifice. Fourth, where you live can completely change your financial reality. And finally, your season of rainfall is coming, so don't you dare quit during the drought. Look, understanding all this isn't about crushing your ambition, not at all. It's about freeing you from the anxiety and the stress of constant comparison. So I'll just leave you with this one question to mull over. Now that you know the whole picture, how are you going to redefine success on your own terms?